Hi, today I'm going to be briefly discussing what to expect if you are going to be embarking on EMDR therapy. In part one, which I released a couple weeks ago, I give more information about the background of EMDR. So if you want more background, feel free to find that video. But today is very specific. Let's say you and your therapist have decided it's time to get some EMDR therapy. This is what to expect. So even prior to that, how do you know you need it? Well, if you're experiencing some anxiety symptoms, not feeling safe, having frequent feelings of I'm not good enough, I don't feel like I have any control, something is my fault, having $100 reaction to a 5-cent problem is a gauge that there might be more going on that could be assisted with EMDR therapy. So what we do is, with your therapist's help, you decide on an image that is disturbing to you in the trauma. So the way it works in our neural networks, when we go through trauma, if we don't have a chance to process it fully at the time, it becomes stored in the neural network of our brains maladaptively, meaning it's not in the memory bank that is like normal, that, oh yeah, I remember that was terrible, what's for lunch. It's more like in the amygdala area, that when there's any kind of reminder about this memory, we get that big reaction, whether it's anger, fear, anxiety, feeling out of control, needing to prevent things from happening, just $100 reaction. So once you determine, okay, that's what's going on with me, you and your therapist will figure out what's the one image, and I say, what's the image that kind of haunts you? Once you've determined that, you look at what the negative cognition is. That's the negative belief about yourself when you picture being there. And you notice where you feel that in your body. The other thing that's very important to address before you even start the reprocessing is, what are we shooting for? What's the positive cognition that I want to have about myself, about this memory, when it's healed, when we've had a chance to reprocess that? That's the positive cognition. And we kind of measure how true that seems, 1 to 7. 7 is that's completely false, all the way up to 7 is completely true. Okay, once you do that, we really just kind of start with that image held together with the negative belief about yourself. Notice where you feel it in your body. And the way I'm doing EMDR now is the person is doing this. Whether it's virtual or in person, I'm still having people do this. And I'm watching you. I'm right there with you. You do it for a little while. You can have your eyes closed or open. Just prior to doing that 0 to 10, how high is the disturbance right now? We'll go for maybe 20 seconds or so. And then I stop you and I say, okay, what do you get now? And all you need to do is give a brief report of either what you see in your mind, what you're thinking about, what you're feeling in your system, or maybe the 0 to 10. Maybe it was a 9 and gee, now it's about an 8. Okay. Or sometimes it goes up. That's okay too. And then we don't really talk about it too much. We just say, I'll say, okay, just notice that. And you go back to another set. And we just go along like that, with the goal being it's going to be a 0 disturbance when you picture that same image. And then the positive belief that you thought of before that maybe didn't feel true, maybe that feels very true now, or something else comes up that's even feels like it resonates even more. And then we set in the positive gains, and there's some other little components to really get the white glove test and make sure we got all of the disturbance. So that's it in a nutshell. Frequently people worry, like, oh, I'm not going to do it right, or what if I freak out too much, or it's too scary to go in there. All those things are very common and normal things to kind of worry about. One thing I say to people, We don't try to do anything. Once we start reprocessing, it's like you get on the train leaves the station, and you're just watching the scenery go by. Sometimes it processes right along in order of what may have happened in the traumatic memory. Sometimes the wisdom of our brain makes this connection to something we hadn't even thought of before. It's okay. Your brain knows what it's doing. The other thing that's important to know is the window of tolerance for emotions. We can't reprocess if we're out of our window of tolerance. So if you're upset or panicky, no, we're going to bring it back down. We're going to stop. We're going to do some grounding. I'm definitely going to help you get back in your window. Or very frequently, people will go out the other side. So it feels like a wall just came up, or they kind of go somewhere else, or it feels like things just went blank. That's outside of the window of tolerance in a hypoarousal mode. And again, we'll come back to doing some grounding or some different questions to help you get back in your window of tolerance. It's okay to be in there if any emotions, but we just don't want you out of it. And a well-trained EMDR therapist will definitely assist you to stay in your window or to help you come back in if you happen to go out of the window. So I hope that's helpful. At least it's a start of what to expect with EMDR. And if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to message me and I'll try to address those. Thank you.